Real Housewives of Miami. Alum Lea Black's husband of more than 30 years, Roy, dies at 80. Roy Black, a noted criminal defense attorney and husband of Real Housewives of Miami Alum Lea Black, has died. Roy died Monday, July 21st, at his home in Coral Gables, Florida, after an illness, Lea confirmed to People. He was 80. Thank you all for your blessings, Lea wrote of her husband of more than 30 years in an Instagram post shared Tuesday, July 22nd. We will be announcing details for a tribute and celebration of life in a few weeks. Roy represented many high-profile clients during his law career. He recounted several of them in his 2000 book Black's Law. A criminal lawyer reveals his defense strategies in 4 cliffhanger cases. Notable figures Roy has represented include Rush Limbaugh, Helio Castroneves, and Kelsey Grammer, as well as the only defendant to go to trial and get acquitted in the Varsity Blues college admission scandal, according to his bio on his firm's website. A graduate of the University of Miami School of Law, he was nicknamed the Professor. Roy was remembered fondly by his partner at his law firm, Black Srebnick. Roy Black was the greatest criminal lawyer of our generation, perhaps in American history, Howard Srebnick told the Miami Herald. Srebnick also praised his colleague for achieving acquittals over a span of 50 years in some of the most challenging and notorious cases of all time. Roy made several appearances on The Real Housewives of Miami throughout the years with his family. Lea was an original main cast member on the first 3 seasons of the Bravo reality show between 2011 and 2013. She returned for Season 5 in 2022 as a guest. Roy would sometimes appear on the Miami set Real Housewives series alongside his wife, whom he married in 1994, and their son, RJ. Roy is also the father of a daughter, Nora, from a previous relationship. Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what People has to offer, from celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. Outside of his Real Housewives appearances, he also hosted the short-lived reality competition show The Law Firm in 2005. Read the original article on People. Jay Weaver. Tuesday, July 22, 2025 at 8:00 p.m. BST, 7-minute read. Roy Black's reputation as one of America's premier criminal defense attorneys defined him for decades. Certainly long before he won an acquittal in 1991 for William Kennedy Smith on a rape charge in Palm Beach, the first trial of its kind to be televised nationally. Black, a New York native who moved to South Florida for his studies as an undergraduate and law student at the University of Miami, died on Monday at his home in Coral Gables at 80 after battling an illness while still continuing to work at his storied law firm on Biscayne Boulevard. Roy Black was the greatest criminal lawyer of our generation, perhaps in American history, achieving acquittals over a span of 50 years in some of the most challenging and notorious cases of all time, said his partner, Howard Srebnick, who joined Black's law firm 30 years ago. Srebnick recalled working as a law clerk for federal appeals court Judge Irving Goldberg in Dallas in the early 1990s when he saw his future law partner for the first time on a black-and-white television in the judge's chambers. Black was cross-examining the accuser in the Kennedy Smith trial that was being broadcast on court TV. Judge Goldberg knew I was leaning hard in favor of a career in criminal defense, and after watching Roy in action, Judge Goldberg said that Roy's were the footsteps I should follow, Srebnick said on Tuesday, describing Black as his teacher, mentor, and friend. One of Srebnick's peers, David O. Marcus, was the first to report early Tuesday on Black's death. "This one really hurts," Marcus wrote on his Southern District of Florida blog, which he founded 20 years ago. And he really was the GOAT of criminal defense lawyers. There are so many of us that want to be Roy in the courtroom, commanding, persuasive, funny. The hardest working, the most determined, and always so positive about winning. Marcus said he was lucky enough to try a 6-week trial with him out of town when I was a young lawyer. I learned so much, and he often helped me brainstorm my cases and trials after that. Black wove a successful career, one that made him a fixture on The Today Show and Larry King Live, by representing some of South Florida's most famous and infamous criminal defendants, from Kennedy Smith, the nephew of JFK, to William Lozano, the Miami police officer who shot and killed motorcyclist Clement Lloyd, 23, with a bullet to the head as he was being chased by another officer on an Overtown street in 1989. Miami cop acquittal. The fatal shooting, which took place on January 16, 1989, the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, sparked riots in Overtown and Liberty City. Lozano was initially convicted at his Miami trial, but after a successful appeal, he was retried in Orlando and acquitted. Black's successful defense of Lozano inspired me to go to law school, said partner Maria Nera. Roy will be forever revered for championing the rights and civil liberties of so many. Although it feels like a fairy tale has come to an end, in the end we are all a story, said partner Jackie Perksek. Roy's story, his love for life and for justice, will live on in all of us and in all the people whose lives he touched and transformed. This generation and many to come stand on his shoulders. Early life. Black was born in Forest Hills, Queens, in 1945. His stepfather was executive vice president for Jaguar Automobiles, and the family moved from Queens to Fort Lee, New Jersey, to Stamford, Connecticut. When Black was 15, his stepfather left Jaguar and moved the family to Kingston, Jamaica, where he had a partnership with a local car dealership. Black attended an English prep school, discovered the ocean, and learned to live as a teen with no television. It was good for me, Black said of his time in Jamaica. It forced me to start reading.